the truth.
Odo, how's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday evening? My name is Lynne Nelson. Welcome to the Filthy Truth. Hope you guys are I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed the shit out of your family. I hope everybody got together. I got to see some amazing pictures with just a shit ton of people coming over to their houses. I'm glad that you guys made the effort to see your family, that you said the hell with the restrictions, the hell with the bullshit, and that you guys went ahead and hung out with your family, and that you guys got to celebrate, create memories, and enjoy the Christmas holiday. Of course, what's coming up? Well, New Year's Eve, and you got to love that Rusin is cutting everybody down at the knees a little bit when it comes to the businesses. But hey, it is what it is. You can still have New Year's Eve parties. You can still go out and have a good time. Just be mindful to not drink and drive. But other than that, y'all go have a good time. Hang out with your friends. Hang out with your people, and make sure that you guys create some memories, and make sure that you guys keep your energies as positive as you can, because the higher vibration that you guys can keep yourselves in, the better it's going to be for 2022, because we can go into 22 with a huge momentum of positivity and togetherness with our families. I want to thank Winnipeg Alternative Media for streaming us live tonight. Head over to wham.live if you guys want to watch any past episodes of The Filthy Truth, or The Prairie Truth for that matter. You guys can also go to www.strongandfreecanada.org. That is where my interview with Iron Will from Strong and Free Truthcast is being hosted. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch that, go over there. Also, my debut for the Filthy Truth rant happens on December 31st with the Iron Will Report. And it is basically like this hour has 22 minutes show meets the Daily Show. It's like, but with our comedy, with definitely our comedy.
So which one of you is Jon Stewart then?
Does Jon Stewart say fuck a lot? Because that would be me.
I don't know. But it's like the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. It's like, man.
Yeah, it's the Daily Show. And Jon Stewart stood up to Stephen Colbert and said, like, Wuhan flu. See similarities. So this is gonna be a great show. I got to see some of the teasers that are going to be on that show. Oh my god, like, it is gonna be so good. You guys are gonna laugh your asses off. You guys are gonna enjoy it. So please make sure to tune in at the strongandfreecanada.org, and make sure that you guys tune in and watch the Iron Will Report. It will be posted. I believe it's going to be posted in the middle of the afternoon so that you guys can watch it out. So out of touch. It's Trevor Noah now. I don't own cable, so I really couldn't tell you who is on that show. Last time I saw it probably was when Jon Stewart was actually hosting it. I want to thank Resistance Coffee. Of course, they are affiliated now with The Filthy Truth. Super stoked to have them on board. So head over to www.resistancecoffee.com, type in Filthy Truth 10 and save 10% on any coffee there. They've got t-shirts now. They've got coffee cups. They've got gift cards. They have wonderful coffee. My favorite is Defund the CBC. I'm in touch with the boys from Resistance Coffee to send me some coffee here in Mexico, because that's how much I miss their coffee. And so I'm working with those boys to get my coffee delivered here so that I can wake up to Defund the CBC
also
coffee.
like the Defund the CBC.
That's my favorite one.
CBC?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
CBC.
It's the Brazilian whatever roast. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like velvety. It's so delicious.
Oh,
so make sure you guys are heading over to Resistance Coffee. What's that?
I was going to say, when you make Tim Hortons coffee, I noticed like in a coffee pot, you see that level of kind of fatty separation on the top where it doesn't look like coffee. Yep. And it's really nice to, pour a pot and you don't see that at all.
It's great coffee. And I use
shameless plug. Monster gets me through the day. Monster energy drink.
I use Piña Fiel. And that is a mineral. They call it agua mineral here. It's just basically sparkling water. It's very, very good.
Oh, nice.
So thanks to Resistance Coffee. Make sure that you guys are supporting companies that are helping fight for your freedom. They donate to the JCCF. Of course, they are the big guys who are helping everybody who is getting these bullshit tickets. Make sure that you guys are helping support a coffee company that is also standing up for your freedoms. So tonight's guest is he's kind of a guest that doesn't like to do too many podcasts, so I'm super humble and super blessed and super honored that he decided to do the Filthy Truth. Super pumped to have him on the show. He works with, or pardon me, he is the executive director of CSAP, which is the Canadian Society for Advancement of Science in Public Policy. If you guys have seen any of my posts today, you will see that I also tagged his website, www.suebonnie.ca. That's Sue, SUE. Bonnie is BONNIE. And of course, it's not my Bonnie that we're going to sue, but it is Bonnie Henry from British Columbia. Without further ado, please welcome our amazing guest tonight, Kip Warner. I want to get the whole hour as much as I can with this guy. Hey, Kip, how's it going?
Hi, everyone.
Right. So I'm just going to kind of start off just so that people can understand who you are. What do you do? And kind of what are you being known for in our freedom fighting world?
Well, I wear two different hats. In my other life, I'm a software engineer. I develop solutions, AI solutions for film and entertainment space. And in the capacity that you're interested in talking to me, I'm the executive director for an organization called the Canadian Society for the Advancement of Science and Public Policy. And you've got the website right there. So sometimes people just call us for short CSAS because the full name is a bit of a mouthful. And we began our campaign back in, I guess it was late 2019. So November, December. With more formal steps getting underway in January, we completed the incorporation, and the organization as a whole took on a life in early January. We then filed our class action and served. I think it was 26th or 27th of January.
That's yeah. So Kip is the guy who's doing the big law action suits, the class action suits in British Columbia, kind of the ones that are going after Bonnie Henry. Who else is named in these class action suits?
So we have three different proceedings. We've got a class action, and we have two petitions. And by petition, I'm not talking about a list of signatures the way people normally use that term. The class action names the provincial crown and the Dr. Bonnie Henry as the defendants. And the two petitions, I believe Dr. Bonnie Henry is named as the respondent. In a petition, you don't call them defendants. You've got, rather than a plaintiff and a defendant, you've got a petitioner and a respondent, but it's kind of the same thing.
Okay. So through the petitions and all that that you guys are putting together, what exactly are the class action suits like? What is in them that you guys are filing against Dr. Bonnie?
Right. So we're claiming basically any type of harm that anyone suffered in BC or who does business with anyone in BC who was in any way affected by any government COVID-19 related policies is a class member. And we're going to end up refining the categories more carefully as time goes on, especially when we come to certification, which is a hearing where our proposed class action is formally given a stamp as a class action, provided we survive that. And so class actions are a bit different than normal suits. In a normal suit, you've got maybe one or a handful of people suing a handful of other people. In a class action, the whole reason for them is to solve three problems. So the first one was access to justice. Second one is judicial economy. And the third one is behavioral modifications. What does that mean? Well, access to justice means that, let's take a simpler example. You buy some kind of a household appliance or a car or something like that, and it turns out to be defective. Not just your specific vehicle, but all of those of that make and model. Like let's take the Ford Pinto, which used to blow up with people inside of it.
I remember that.
It's not, yeah. So in a situation like that, rather than having thousands of people or everyone who bought the product go to the courthouse and start their own suit, um, they're lumped together as one. So that's what's called judicial economy, actually. So it's basically using the court's resources in a more efficient manner. And access to justice is about people who might not otherwise have been able to access the courts for any number of reasons. Maybe they didn't have money, or they didn't know how to use the process properly, or whatever, are able to work together and get that access. So an example would be like a car is more expensive, but say you had something more, maybe that wasn't worth going to the trouble of filing a suit. Your printer cartridge that's worth $30 or something only had half as much ink as the manufacturer said it did. It's not really worth going to the courthouse and dealing with that, and a judge isn't going to hear it anyways. But if you've got 100,000 people who all have that same problem, now they have access to the courts. And so the third requirement of why we have class actions is behavioral modification. And so what's that? That's not about our behaviors needing to be modified. It's about the defendants. So if you've got a company that's doing something really bad, let's say that take the printer cartridge example. The behavioral modification is encouraging the manufacturer to take steps to ensure that they make accurate representations about their product. Does that make sense? So access to justice, behavioral modification, and judicial economy in no particular order.
Yeah, so it makes complete sense when you talk about it like that. So when we kind of go forward, like the biggest thing that most Canadians are talking about is like, and I already saw a couple of the comments the second that those pop up. I know in Manitoba we had a class action suit. I believe it was a class action suit, anyways, that was filed from our pastors for the churches. And Judge Wyad basically just said, "You guys are all in the wrong," and kept the them closed down. And then everybody's like, well, the courts are corrupt. How do you handle that kind of conversation with people saying the judges are bought for, the courts aren't going to help you? How do we win against a corrupt court system?
Yeah, so I'm not regarding corruption of judges. Judges are people. They have conflicts of interest potentially, or there's a possibility for that. Whether that actually is what's happening, I don't know. I'm not going to make any comment in that respect. But what I can say is that if you're playing, let's say, a sports game, whatever you want, let's take, it doesn't matter really the game, hockey, basketball, softball. When you hear someone blaming the referee, most of the time, what's usually the problem? It's the referee, biased, bought and paid for. No, most of the time, someone just wasn't performing at the level. They weren't playing the game the way they were supposed to, or something like that, right?
Yep.
It's not to say that a referee can't be corrupted, but it happens a lot less than people think it does. And most of the time in litigation, when you have serious problems, my experience has been that it's usually the lawyers that are the source of the corruption, and their conflicts of interest pervade everything that they do, and their mechanical recitation of the Law Society rules that govern their conduct doesn't really address how they manage to pull off a lot of what they do. A lot of these people have built entire careers walking between the raindrops and never getting caught. I've seen it firsthand, how they do a lot of these things. And what people don't realize is that the code of ethics that lawyers are bound by here in BC actually has nothing at all to do with ethics. It's a misnomer. That document is actually, it's a commercial code. It has nothing to do with ethics. Ethics is a branch of philosophy that deals with the study of morality, right and wrong.
Yep.
And a commercial code is a set of rules that govern transactions. It has nothing to do, or it's not limited, I would say, to ethics is not limited to that, because if it was, then it would mean that only people with money would have the capacity to be ethical, and only people who are engaged in some kind of transaction would have an opportunity to be ethical. We know that's not true. So
Yeah.
ethics is obviously much broader than commercial code, but once you understand that that's what they're really talking about when they said that they were complying with the rules, then you understand how they're able to get away with a lot of what they do. It's nowhere in the ancient world did anyone, not Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, Zarathustra, nobody ever reduced ethics down to a commercial code.
Yeah. So we have all these things. The corruption is like, yeah, I love the reference, by the way, to the referees, because you could have a blown call, you can have a blown this. Maybe that ref wasn't on the top of the game, and everybody likes to blame the refs, even though the call was probably right. On this stuff. So we'll say that the courts are on our sides, and I've seen court victories already happening. Some in the States, some in Canada. And I know that a lot of the questions are happening, and I know that we talked about it. We're not going to comment too much on it. But one of the things and the biggest questions that I think I found on your website was the working with the Rocco Galati and how you and what you guys are doing, how you guys are very different in your approach to filing class action suits. And you can comment to wherever you need to comment on that, but that's definitely a question that people should be wondering.
Right. So my understanding is that I don't believe Mr. Galati has brought a class proceeding or a proposed class proceeding. We don't have anything to do with him. The reason why we have that entry on our FAQ is because we continue to be bombarded with inquiries, public inquiries from people who had formally donated to his campaign, had a grievance with him, were not able to get satisfactory answers for whatever reason about where their money went. And we didn't have anything to do with fundraising for him. We never attempted to retain him. He actually asked our lawyer to help him with his proceeding. We had some concerns about not just his conduct, but specifically his fundraising arms in BC and in Ontario. And but we don't really get sidetracked on that. There's a lot of, unfortunately, since the onset of all of this, the government hasn't been our only problem. And by us, I'm talking about citizens here in BC, Canadian citizens. There's been a huge amount of problems from grifters, fraud, all kinds of things. And unfortunately, dire situations like this tend to bring out the very best and the very worst people, just like in war. And I'm not saying that Mr. Galati has engaged in fraud. I'll leave your listeners to come to their own conclusions. They can read our materials and decide.
Mm-hmm.
But we do find it a bit concerning that his proceeding, which began, I think, a year ago or maybe more, of the 21 defendants, none of them have filed a reply. None of the plaintiffs have brought an application for a default judgment. In fact, we're not even sure if any of the defendants were even served.
Yeah.
And we get inquiries all the time. People asking us if he's controlled opposition. I don't know. I don't have any evidence to indicate that. So I can't really tell you what the best person to explain what Rocco Galati is doing is Rocco, if he was willing to answer those kinds of questions. But we try to focus on the work that we're actually doing here in BC, and we try not to get sidetracked with the drama. So our organization has gained a lot of reputability in the last year as sort of, maybe Switzerland is a bit excessive of an analogy, but we've been sort of the neutral organization that's just been focusing on the litigation. So something that people may not realize is that we're not a lobby group. We're not a public relations oriented organization. We don't write letters to your members of parliament, MLAs. We don't put on Woodstock type events with music and glow sticks and porta potties. We're mainly a combat unit. We just focus on going to court and trying to obtain orders. Everything else is a distraction. We fundraise. We tend to not panhandle. People know where their money's going, and since the beginning, we've had a great deal of transparency. Anybody can see our books at any time. None of us take a salary. We're all volunteers. All of our administrative costs are limited to, well, obviously, lawyer fees, court fees, insurance, bank fees, printing costs, stuff like that. But nobody personally pockets anything. And that wasn't a preference. We didn't want to do things that way because the team does do a lot of work. I mean, there's people answering phones, responding emails every day. And I feel bad about that. But the problem was that because there was so much fraud in the anti-lockdown movement from the beginning, it was a difficult decision that I had to make. But I figured it would be better if we could just avert any type of allegations of impropriety, real or perceived, just by doing that. No one receives anything.
And I think that's a great idea that you do that. And I love the transparency on that. So where people can see the transparency, you guys really hide nothing when it comes to cost of courts, where the money's going that's donated. Like anybody can see it, and it's just there for the public.
Everything every receipt, like anybody who wants to reach out to our treasurer and wants to make an appointment, it's very boring. Like you're just going to see nothing suspicious. It's boring, but it's one of those necessary administrative tasks that you have to get out of the way in order to maintain public confidence in your work.
Yeah, I think it's very, very smart to do that as well, because again, you kind of leave nobody questioning your ethics behind it and the morals behind it, right? You're there for the fight. You're there to do the right thing.
Yeah, they've got a page strictly for transparency on their site, like strictly for that. Like, that's awesome.
Right there.
You don't see that anywhere else.
No, and what we're doing is really never, as far as I know, it's never been done before. There's never been a client-driven, crowd-funded class action in Canadian history that I'm aware of. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not aware of anything that's ever been done like this before. Normally, class actions, what happens is the lawyers decide that there's an opportunity to GM, IBM, Google, Microsoft, whatever, and they will go out, and they often have a database of, you'll have to forgive the language, but it's basically useful idiots, the people that they think that they can kind of control, and will go along with their agenda, sign the settlement paperwork, and they'll maybe give that representative plaintiff a cookie or something, but they'll be laughing all the way to the bank. And I've seen this firsthand. I was involved in a class action. I was a representative plaintiff against the tech giant, and I saw all of the lawyers, 100% of all of the settlement money being distributed amongst lawyers. That was their plan. The judge ordered them to give me a few $1,000s. I actually asked the judge that. I said, that's not necessary. The money's supposed to go towards advancing the class members' interests. But it was a very corrupted process. I had virtually no control at all over it. And so those past lessons were all applied in managing this campaign, because people don't understand. It's not as simple as just raising money, hiring a lawyer, and then just stepping back and letting them do their work. You have to supervise them 24/7. They are, unfortunately, not always, but you'll be better off beginning with an assumption that they're generally corrupt, and it's unfortunate. You shouldn't have to make generalizations like that in your life. It's not a good thing. But my experience has been with lawyers that you'll be more often right than wrong in adopting that heuristic, and you'll be able to mitigate all kinds of potential disasters. So like I said, those are the biggest problems. It's not really the court. Maybe there's corruption. I don't know. I haven't seen it firsthand myself, but I can tell you that the primary threat vector for a class action is plaintiff counsel. And as I said, I've seen this many times.
So with kind of where we're going with the files that you guys are putting in, you got the two oh, pardon me, I can't remember the word. It just kind of escaped my head there. Um, Petitions, and then the class action suit. What's the best result? Like, what are we kind of going for in BC with that?
So are you asking like what are we asking the court for?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the class action is basically everything. We're asking the court to make judicial declarations that all kinds of provincial health orders were ultra vires, which means they didn't have the authority to make the decisions that they had. We're also seeking damages as well for class members. So whether you're a business owner or just an individual citizen whose rights were violated, basically everyone who's affected, we're asking for damages as well. And a number of other things. The pleadings are not long. The pleadings, is the document that starts the suit, basically, and lays out who's suing who, what they want, why they're entitled to it, how a judge why the judge is justified in giving you what you want. The two petitions are more narrow in scope. What they're intended to do is we could have done what we were doing with the petitions in the class proceeding, but the problem is that it was very time sensitive. The situation keeps changing. So, for instance, like our initial estimate that we thought we needed 100K, that is accurate up until the point where we started getting lobbied by over 5,000 healthcare workers for like, hey, we're about to lose our job. You need to do something now. We can't wait until the summer for you to have your certification hearing, whatever other hearings you're going to have in the class proceeding. And so we brought two petitions. One is specifically for all the healthcare workers, and what that's supposed to do is prevent it challenges the public health order that says that all of these healthcare workers, whether they're naturopaths, nurses, medical doctors, whatever, from losing their job as a result of not having the injection. So that's what one of the petitions is for. And that will be heard in February. So not long,
awesome.
We're a couple of weeks away. And then the other petition was for all the rest of us who are confronted with the injection passport, which people are using in restaurants and various public venues daily. And those three proceedings, I think, cover basically everything. But the two petitions were not originally planned. And so that went over budget. And it's expensive because, I mean, like expert reports can cost tens of thousands of dollars. And even with the greatest economy of effort in managing a campaign like this and nobody taking salaries and all of that, it still costs money. And,
Yeah.
But so far, we seem to be doing okay.
That's awesome. I think we got a bit of an echo there. Do you think that your speakers are a little louder, or?
I don't know.
Got a bit of an echo there.
My camera closer away from my.
That might be better. A little bit. We'll work with it. So with everything that's kind of going on, I really like the fact that you guys are filing it again, especially like for me, the biggest one that I really like is the fact that you guys are filing against the people who are being forced to take the shot or they're going to lose their jobs. And I really like that you guys are pushing for that. And I really enjoy that. Is there if they decide that you guys win, can there be any type of criminal file against them for breaking the human rights?
It's kind of a complicated question. So in a long time ago, like in ancient Rome, a private citizen could bring a criminal indictment against their neighbor. So you didn't have to be the state prosecutor. It could be anybody could do it, which wasn't always good because the consequences were that if that person, the accused, was acquitted, the person who brought the complaint would have to face the same consequences as the accused had the accused been found guilty. So if someone was found innocent and the penalty was having your head cut off, your hand cut off or something, that's what would happen to you. So it was something that you didn't take lightly when commencing such a thing. But in today, I'm not aware of any Western liberal democracy that really allows you to go as a private citizen and start a criminal proceeding. There is a process under the criminal code here that allows you to lay what's called an information, but I'm not aware of anyone actually having successfully used it, a private citizen. It's not a very good design in that respect. It would make more sense to just not have it at all, or to allow just the government to do it, because leaving people with the impression that they can bring private informations, it just, I think it just wastes court resources because they're not taken seriously, unfortunately. So someone who brings lays a private information under the rules, under the criminal code, the attorney general can step in if they think it's of public interest and decide to continue prosecuting that matter. But I'm not aware of anyone ever successfully having done it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Let me finish your thought.
I was going to say that during our discovery process for the class proceeding, there's anything that might come up. We're not going to start a fishing expedition. We have pretty good idea of what we're going to ask for and why, and pretty good idea of what we're going to find. But when those documents come into the public light, and that's just the nature of the British system. It's always been like that. If you bring a suit, being sued, anything that might be relevant in either party's possession has to get produced to the other side for inspection. And when that process happens after certification, some of those documents may be of interest to a criminal prosecutor. We can't make any guarantees of that, but it wouldn't be the first time that something like that has happened in other jurisdictions where it becomes known at a later date that some public official had acted improperly in a way that well exceeded what the limits would be for a public servant. And at that point in time, it's possible a criminal prosecutor could do that. But even if a private citizen laid an information, and we could do it ourselves if we wanted to, you'd have a much stronger basis for being able to convince a judge that someone had done something improperly.
That's interesting. Yeah, see, the whole court system is it's like this huge, massive beast, and it's almost like there's so many heads that you can slay. I really like that what you guys are doing with everything. Through the journey that you guys have had since the beginning of December, or I guess December 2019, so the end of 2019 to now, have you had many whistleblowers come forward to help your case move along, to kind of like help pad up the stats, I guess, or to pad up the information to present to the judge?
We have had innumerable whistleblowers and people come forward. I'm not going, because Crown Counsel likely will review this video at some point in time. I'm not going to say specifically who or whether
that's
they
totally
happen
cool.
to be within Dr. Henry's inner circle or anywhere under or above her. But we have quite a few people who have come forward and brought material information, which we're going to have an opportunity after certification to put certain questions to Dr. Henry.
That's fantastic. And if anybody that wants to kind of help blow the whistle or wants to blow the whistle, is there a way that they can kind of contact you and get or give you their information or their story?
Yes. So we have a variety of different means that people can get in touch with us. Our receptionist receives calls all the time, almost every day, from people with various inquiries. And if people want to have secure communication, they can either use, we have encrypted phone, we've got encrypted email if they want to use that. If they just want to have a telephone call, they can do that. If they want to meet in person, we can do that. If they want to have a conversation, have their counsel reach out to ours, we can arrange that as well. There's a variety of options, but we do everything that we can to ensure that we maintain the confidence of those people if they ask for any type of protection from their identity being revealed. We have actually, I think, over 100 NDAs that have already been executed. People who work with us, who want to collaborate and so on. And because a lot of the people that come to us are concerned about workplace retaliation, having their identity revealed if, say, they're a nurse or a medical doctor. We have NDAs in place to ensure that any other of the volunteers who work with us also respect their confidentiality. So we've taken all kinds of steps to ensure that if something happens, that we know how to deal with it quickly. But having the public's confidence is very important. Otherwise, if people don't feel safe, they're not going to come forward.
100%. So you said the next court case, was in February, and that was for one of the petitions. And when is the rest of the class action suits, and when's the next petition supposed to be hitting the courts?
Right. So I think actually we may have. I think we may actually have a hearing in a few weeks in January as well for the class action, and I think it may be a judicial management conference. It's these judicial management conferences, they're not they are important, but they don't, at those conferences, nothing is decided on the merits of like who is right, who is wrong on what the claim is actually about. It's more procedural. It's basically like this whole class action is not one hearing. That's what people don't realize. Not one hearing. You go to a decision's made, and then people walk out and they've got a judgment in hand or the case thrown out. There, in a class action, it's very difficult to get rid of it early. Crown Counsel already tried. They were warned on 2 occasions by 2 separate judges that the arguments that they intended to raise were not good ones, and they're going to have to try harder. That doesn't mean that they won't succeed in the end in getting the suit thrown out. But the traditional approaches, I don't think will work. So at the certification hearing, Crown Counsel intended to challenge the plaintiff's standing in this proceeding. So what that means is basically saying that, well, the plaintiff is a body corporate, which is what we are. We're a nonprofit. We're a legal fiction in the sense that we exist on paper. It's not an actual human being. And only an actual human being can bring a constitutional challenge, because a body corporate can't have its rights violated the way that we're claiming. That was the position that they wanted to take. And I had anticipated that a long time ago. Counsel anticipated that. We knew they were going to do that, and they'll have other tricks up their sleeve. But that argument won't work. There's been changes in the case law in recent years that have established that, in fact, body corporates can bring constitutional proceedings. And Crown Counsel may not have been aware of that, but 2 different judges warned them of that on 2 different occasions. We have the transcripts of that. So I think they're going to probably abandon that argument. Instead, what they're going to do is find every technicality that they can at the certification hearing, which is another reason why it's so important that we're on our best behavior all the time, because a class action, the representative plaintiff, which is CSASP, has to be able to represent the best interests of everyone in the province, all the class members, not just evangelicals or the far right or whatever, but everybody, or even just business owners, everybody. It has to advocate for everybody. And the court will review that at the certification hearing. And there's actually a requirement set out in statute under the Class Proceedings Act that requires that. They'll also try and challenge our position of whether or not there actually was an emergency and so on. But as they're going to find out, that won't apply either, because the certification, see that these lawyers on the other side, I think they're very skilled in the type of things that the AG deals a lot with, whether it's family matters or smaller scale personal injury claims. But I know for a fact that at least 2 of these lawyers don't have much, if any, experience at all with class proceedings. And the government, I don't want to give them any ideas, but they would have been prudent to retain external counsel as they do with other matters. I don't really think they're equipped to deal with this, which is good. I'm not complaining about that, but it's certainly that might change. They may get some hired guns along the way, but they're going to want to challenge the premise that we're engaging of whether or not there actually was an emergency. And the purpose of a certification hearing, it does not concern itself with the merits of the claim.
Yeah.
It's just concerned with the steps that are necessary that have to be established to certify the proceeding as a class action. Things like is there a common cause? Like, are there things like of that nature? And I don't think that they fully appreciate that yet. As we get closer to the certification hearing, as they probably get some more legal advice, um, they'll probably figure that out. Like, I was lucky in that when I worked on previous class actions, obviously I'm an engineer, just an engineer. I'm not a lawyer, but I had an opportunity to learn from some of the best class action lawyers in the country on how they do things. And they're very good at what they do. I don't mean good as in ethical, but good as in competent at achieving what their objectives are. And I watched them like a hawk in everything that I could. And I learned a lot from them. Those lessons were incorporated into this campaign. That's why our suit hasn't been thrown out yet. They can't, if they wanted to bring an application to strike, it wouldn't matter how strong their evidence was or their basis for it. It likely would not be granted. And so people who say that, well, the courts are corrupt, I don't know, but our judge doesn't seem to be. And if he was, he would have found a way to get rid of the suit very early on. And there's ways that he can do that without the court bringing its own application, but just subtle language, subtle suggestions to Crown Counsel that, there may be an opportunity, or I'm granting leave for you to bring an application at such a date for an application to strike or something like that. And I'll remain seized of that just to ensure that you actually do get the order that you want out thrown out. Nothing like that has happened yet. In fact, on one occasion, I even asked to adjourn the hearing because there was a minor defect. One of our affidavits was missing a few pages, and I wanted to fix that. So I didn't want a lengthy adjournment. I was fine just overnight. Next morning, let's get back, have the affidavit, because we didn't want to have any issues over that. And the judge said, Justice Carrera said, don't worry about it. We'll carry on with this hearing. There's no need for an adjournment, and it went just fine. Almost every single one of the orders that Crown Counsel was asking for was dismissed, with the exception of one, which the judge said was actually helpful to our cause.
So that's a pretty good judge. I know that lots of people I think there's a lot of skepticism. I think just over the last 20 something months, it's just a lot of people are kind of broken down into believing this stuff. With the success that you guys have had thus far, have you created any kind of template or something that other provinces can kind of like copycat or copycat would be the word, so that they can kind of proceed their own litigations against our provincial governments?
It wasn't our intention to do that, but that's what ended up happening anyways. So in Ontario, there was a class proceeding that began there, and it was basically a replication of our pleadings. We've had people make inquiries from as far down as southern United States, Europe, and elsewhere, trying to replicate our campaign. And I mean, it's funny because a lot of parts of the pleadings I drafted myself, and I think it's funny because other lawyers, if they knew that, they wouldn't copy it because they'd poo-poo that. I mean, what could an engineer possibly know about law? But I mean, the law is a public utility, and pleadings don't belong to them. Like, anyone can learn the civil procedures if they want to. It's not rocket science at all. And so other lawyers, without knowing it, did copy our work, even though it was drafted by myself and the team. We collaborated together on it. And I think that until it's thrown out, no one can say definitively that it's defective. We're doing the best that we can with the resources that we have. And when you're drafting pleadings, you kind of have to ensure that you just stick to what is actually material for your claim, and you don't delve off into the weeds with other things. So we had a lot of people in the beginning who wanted us to deal with tangential issues, or maybe not, whether it's 5G or Bill Gates or the John Birch Society's theory of world communism behind everything. All of these things they wanted integrated into the suit, and I made the tactical decision at the time that no, we don't need that, because every additional thing that you put in there that's superfluous gives the other side an opportunity to bring an application to strike, or in Ontario they call it motion to strike. And when that happens, they will get costs. Now, normally in a class proceeding, there's no costs awarded to the winner, but it'd be better not to find out that I'm wrong on that. So it's best if we just stay focused on what are our orders actually that we're seeking actually turn on, and just try and focus on that.
Yeah, I like the dedication to the eye on the prize that you guys have as a team, because it's so easy to allow so many shiny objects to come into your, especially when you're trying to fight everything that's kind of been going wrong and what they've done to break human rights and the Charter of Rights and the bill. Like they've done a good job of smashing a lot of that shit, and you've done a really good job just kind of focusing on what that you guys can stay with, that isn't going to get thrown out. So that's really, really awesome. How can people help donate or help your cause, so that the files are still being able to get are you taking volunteers? Are you taking donations? How is that working?
Yes, we are taking donations, and anybody who wants to donate, they can do so. We have a variety of different methods, including if you want to remain anonymous. If you just go to subani.ca and click donate, you can follow the instructions there. We don't take we don't take cash, simply because it complicates the bookkeeping records, and we need to keep records of exactly how much was donated. See, that's the problem, is if you throw a rally and you have a box, people putting cash in it, there's no accounting controls in place at that time. Yep. So say there's $100,000 in cash put into the box, and then by the time that box is driven home, maybe there's 95,000. You don't know, right? And
there's $100 left because that guy is corrupt.
Exactly. You don't know, and so that's one problem, is the lack of controls. And two, if you don't have insurance, then if there's theft or something like that, you're not able to mitigate for that. And then the third thing is that, say you decide to abort, say you say, look, we can't go to the courthouse anymore for whatever reason, you have no way of refunding any of that money because you don't know where it came from. So that's a problem too. And so from the beginning, we don't take cash. You can donate by check. You can use the e-transfer. You can use the GoFundMe campaign page, and I think they'll take all.
Can you use cryptocurrency?
We don't take cryptocurrency.
Okay.
I suppose we could set that up. It's not really difficult to do. We just haven't had anybody
wanting to pay with that,
especially with so many different cryptocurrencies right now. I personally don't have time to run to the exchanges and be dealing with that. If someone wanted to donate a substantial amount of money that made it worthwhile to do that, we could. But right now, most people just donate through the GoFundMe campaign or e-transfers.
Wouldn't it be nice to get a big old Bitcoin in that crypto though?
Yeah, I mean,
65 grand.
If GoFundMe doesn't add it as a method of payment, then we could always accept that. But like I said, nobody's really asking for it right now.
That was a great question. Kip, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's so amazing to see, the volunteers, like you guys are taking literally time out of your day to do this. And this can't be just like 1 or 2 hours. Like you guys must be just slaving on this like day in and day out. Do you guys even take any days off?
I don't remember the last time I ever had a vacation, but the team does work very hard. It's a collaborative effort. There's a great deal of reading. I have to stay on top of, like, I'm a software engineer, so I work on other things regularly, but sometimes while I'm waiting for things to complete, I'll be reading case law, or I'll brush up on certain aspects of the civil procedures or whatever, because the details really matter. They matter a lot, and you can lose an entire case based on one technicality. And it's difficult, but if you don't make an effort, if you're not supervising counsel, if you're not giving precise, detailed instructions on exactly what you expect to happen next, you may find yourself in with a bunch of problems later on.
Jeez. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, guys, if you guys want to help donate, if you guys want to help the cause, it is www.suebonnie.ca. Kip, thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Good luck in any future endeavors. Please keep me posted and let me know how the cases go. Let me know what happens in January and in February. And if everything's like all thumbs up and we win this stuff, I would love to have you back on and we can like have a celebratory champagne.
Maybe I'll end by saying we have bumper stickers now that are disappearing pretty quickly. I had suspected they would be popular, but they turned out to be even more popular, which is good. I don't have a vehicle anymore. I used to have a motorcycle. It's too big to fit on it. But if you've got a car or truck, anything, the new bumper stickers look really cool.
That's awesome. All right, Kip, thank you so much. Good luck with the class action suits and the petitions. All the best moving forward, and good luck with everything that you guys are doing out in BC. And hopefully Manitoba can adapt what you guys are doing and get some people to grow enough balls to maybe start stepping forward and taking action.
I hope so too. Okay.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, that was Kip Warner from the Canadian Society for Advancement of Science in Public Policy. Very, very long name. But you can head over to www.suebonnie.ca. I'm not done yet. You can cross over. So before the show, it was quite funny. I was on the back end with my producer, and my oldest daughter creeps in here through the back window, crawls on the floor all the way to the bed to grab something, crawled back out because she thought I was recording, and it just looked like a really failed attempt at Mission Impossible. So, Sierra, I just called you out on that. Manitoba, stay strong,
I wish
guys.
I had the music because I totally would have been like,
right? I think that would have been fantastic to get that on video. I think that would have been the best. So guys, head over there. If you guys want to listen to this show or any past shows, make sure that you guys head over to Spotify and make sure that you guys are subscribed and following the Filthy Truth on there. Make sure that you guys head over to strongandfreecanada.org so that you guys can take a listen to my interview with Iron Will. That was fantastic. It was super fun to do. And the Filthy Truth rant, which is going to be, basically what my old rants used to be, but just a little bit more better, if that's a better word.
Is that just going to be on the one down here? Or are you doing that through your Filthy Truth as well?
So it's going to just be on that one to start off. And then once I get the video after everything's been posted and it's been aired, I am going to take it and I'm going to put it on the Filthy Truth as well so everybody can take a look at it. She covers her face.
I'm not here.
I'm not here. Don't look at me.
Now she needs to come back and
just do some breakdancing, some stuff.
Yeah, something crazy.
I did want to really kind of break down quickly too, with the stuff that Kip's doing and all the litigation work and all the work that he's doing. You have to remember this is all a volunteer. This is somebody who stepped up to the plate and decided to take action and to do something. And now he's leading a whole team and a whole 2 petitions and a class action suit. If anybody in Manitoba is willing to step up, is willing to do the work. I know we have a couple people like the Beth Martins of the world. They are doing a lot of this, but if we can get some stuff into the courts, if we can start filing, if we can start fighting back, if we can start telling Stevenson, guess what? You're not in charge here. We're actually going to win this and we're going to come after you. If we could tell Dr. Brent Rusin and take him down a peg, it's really, really time that we do that because the winter is coming down harder, guys. Things are going to start shifting. I mean, schools are going to be out. They say now the NHL is coming back after a 6-day hiatus because they're following science, and I don't understand what's going on there. There's a lot of things that people really need to start standing up for, and you have to start seeing the writing on the wall that this isn't for your health because everybody in Manitoba that's sick right now is double and triple shot up. It is what we told you guys was going to happen. We literally
got a Facebook thing from a friend who's in Manitoba. They said, I think it was 600 some odd new cases, 0 reported from non-vax this today. And that the partially vaxxed from these numbers that are being released from this thing, I have found that the partially vaxxed are somewhere the best off. It seems like they've got the kind of herd immunity from the first. They've kind of got that shot thing, and it seems like those numbers are really low, like 12, 13, 17. But it's like today alone, there are 0 cases from unvaxxed. It's all, that's the one. Bam, guys.
So the one thing that I questioned this, the only thing I questioned about that post was if it was a little bit doctored, because they did change how the Manitoba Public Health displayed their numbers. But it's just to say, but it is to say too that we did say that the shots were going to kill your immune system. The shots were going to take out your white blood count cells, and the white blood cells are the things that fight. And they are your immune system, right? They are the things that kind of keep you safe. They are the things that keep your colds and all of that stuff. And when you take the shots, it kills that. And it's been proven time and time again that it does. And this is why people who are like, the Omicron is a cold, but because they have no immune system to fight it off, it's like almost a death sentence for some. And this is the problem. And I think that people really need to start adding A and B together, because we've literally done a whole loop and now we're back again to everybody's getting sick. The vaccinated are getting sick, and somehow the unvaxxed are the ones who are getting blamed for this. So we really do need some people to start stepping up and start filing some stuff in our law courts. We have to start doing this, and we have to start pushing the needle, because corrupted or not corrupted, I don't know much about that. I'm one of the ones who believes that some judges have been paid off, and I'm one of the ones that also believes that some judges are there and they have their ethics, just like every freedom fighter that's out there. You know, there's some people in those spots, just like the cops, just like the paramedics. You're going to have some on both sides of the fence. You just have to find the right one, and I think that that's going to be huge.
A few Calgary cops speaking out on Instagram on a couple of things recently.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram of that Calgary cop, and I want that guy on my show. I am working hard to find out who that guy is.
I'll make some calls, make some messages, see what I can do. I did want to say though, reach out to Monstrosity Burger, and because we have a Resistance Coffee commercial, we need a Monstrosity Burger commercial. And
okay,
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
And they just need to send me some pictures and stuff they want.
Okay, Paulina, get on that. I need some. We need some photos, Paulina. I actually didn't do my burger giveaway. I completely forgot to do the burger giveaway. I don't even have it in my notes here.
Wow.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Who did you pick from the hat for the coffee giveaway? The coffee.
I have that in my notes too, but I don't have that notebook in front of me. So what I'm going to do is I'll just post it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I kind of came running in here because I was eating supper, and then I ran in here, and then I was like, oh dang, what's sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I got here late. I was out helping a friend with her kids. They were just hell today. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good friend. I'm going to go be the mean uncle. I'm going to whip some kids into shape. And I got here, man, like 10 minutes
right on time.
Yeah.
So there you go. See, even Bill Rockwood here is offering his voice from Take Action Canada to help with that Monstrosity Burger commercial. So there you go. We'll give Bill a huge shout out. That guy's been he's been a good supporter of mine, and so I want to give him a huge shout out. Thanks, Bill, for everything that you're doing. Guys, the Monstrosity. Yeah, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a question here. Let's do a question. Name the website of Kip Warner that will get you guys to be able to donate. So what's the website?
And the acronym. I want the acronym, not the freaking full thing. That's long. If you can do the acronym, perfect.
Acronym and website. Okay, go. We'll give you a free burger from Monstrosity. Those guys there are opened today.
You know what the worst part is? I put it all in the comments. Click and paste, people. Click and paste. No, not the Sue Bonnie. We want the other one.
Which one? Oh, the other one.
The other one. I thought you want the
I was
other one.
I was gonna do Sue Bonnie. I was gonna do Sue Bonnie.
I was gonna do the other one. The other one, because it's long and it's hard, and it was only mentioned like 4 or 5 times. It makes it a little harder.
I'd go with Sue Bonnie. I'm all right with Sue Bonnie.
All right, Bill Wolf, you win.
All right, Bill.
Win. The exact put her foot down.
You win a free burger from Monstrosity Burger, and so head on to Monstrosity. I will let Paulina know that you are coming down, so you make sure that you bring your family down, take a picture, and make sure to tag the Filthy Truth and Monstrosity Burger in those photos on Facebook. That would be great. To everyone who is...
And remember, the only thing that Monstrosity Burger asks you is if you want fries with that.
Right there. It's written right there. All right, guys. Happy New Year. I'm on Todd's show on Thursday. We're going to come in a real quick recap 2021 and kind of do a look ahead of 2022. He's got a great show coming up on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of freedom fighters in and out of that page. So it's going to be tons of fun on Thursday.
I didn't get asked.
I'll bring you with me.
I'm so sad. No,
I
I'm
think
okay, but you know.
He's got like
I'm
12
so
or
hurt.
13
So
people that
hurt.
are like coming in and out of that one. So that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, on New Year's Eve, make sure that you guys are heading over to strongandfreecanada.org so that you guys can hit over to the Truthcast. Make sure that you guys are watching our version of This Hour Has 22 Minutes and the Daily Show with our, it's called the Iron Will Report Show. And you guys get to watch that. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be so funny. I got to hear some of the commercials that are on there, and they
nice.
they're gonna be fucking
Really?
hilarious.
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be a good show.
We need to convince them. Celebrity Jeopardy.
Celebrity Jeopardy. That would be fun.
I will host. Alex Trebek right here.
How do I get a hold of Alex? Alex, Colin wants to know how he can get a hold of you. Just maybe drop your email.
Hold on. I do have banners for me, actually. You can go to my Facebook page, the Mactown Stack Down, right there. That is what I use to do these shows. You can also find me at Alexander Ferguson. That's my name on Facebook. Either or.
Did you forget your last name there for a second?
No. Okay, so it used to be
Ferguson.
Alexander the Boss Ferguson.
Oh, yes. Hart Honer here is asking if we're going to be better than This Hour Has 22 Minutes. Yeah, we're going to be a lot fucking better than This Hour Has 22 Minutes. We're going to be a lot fucking better than that show.
That's because this hour does not have 22 minutes. It is 60 minutes. They're going to do a 60-minute. This hour has 22 minutes.
And we're going to do, and we're not the liberal bullshit. We're not the fucking liberal bullshit. This isn't going to be the whole freaking we love Trudeau and Jean Chrétien is my favorite guy in the whole damn world. No. This is going to be good. Nobody is off the table here.
I don't give a shit what your politics are. Here's the truth. Fucking eat it.
It's called the Filthy Truth rant for a reason. It's like that, right? All right, guys, head over to the Shadow Davis show if you guys have not done so already, because it is past 8 o'clock. Again, a huge thank you to Kip Warner. I know he doesn't do many of these interviews, and so it was great to have him on the show. It was great to have what's going on in BC. It was great to see. It's great to see people stepping up and really doing this. And these are a bunch of volunteers. It is all transparent. I'm not going to comment too much on Rocco Galati. I'm not going to comment too much on the Chris Sky fraud stuff that they've talked about.
And my normal thing in the comments, guys, go
perfect.
Check me
there you
out.
go.
And donate to the Filthy Truth.
Donate to the Filthy Truth. Thank you. So there you go, guys. I'm not going to comment too much on the Rocco and the Chris Sky stuff, but if you guys follow the money and follow their footsteps and their history stuff, you can just kind of make the call for yourself. And to everybody else, if you guys are looking to kind of copycat what's going on in BC in your own provinces, make sure that you guys are getting a hold of Kip or some of the staff at subani.ca so that you guys can get the copycat and start doing your own filing in your courts. Guys, Happy New Year. 2022 is around the corner. This is our pivoting year. This is the year that things have to happen. This is the year we have to start standing up. This is the year we have to unite. This is the year where we have to make shit happen so that we don't get stuck to the passport. We don't get stuck to the two-tier system. This is the year. This is the big year, and we need to make shit happen. I love you guys so damn much. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Celebrate the shit with your family and just have the best of time and make memories and hang out with your like-minded friends that are going to make you laugh, make you feel great. And the best part about this, guys, is if you are feeling lonely, we have a huge community that is willing to embrace you and take you in as part of our family. We love you so much, everyone.
I did have a quick question for you. How would you feel about a once-a-month Q&A show?
If anybody has a Q&A and they want to ask me any questions, they are more than free.
Because I'm thinking about bringing Sean back. I'm going to manhandle that guy and do a Q&A with you two. Once a
Yeah.
month. Okay.
Well, once a month may be too much, but yeah, just because we only have 4 shows a month, but I'm definitely down for that.
It won't be on a regular schedule. It'll be like a Monday, once a
Oh,
month
yeah.
on a random Monday or a random day of the week, whatever. It won't be
Absolutely.
on a regular scheduled programming day. I'm not going to do
100%.
that to you.
Yeah, I'm down. Next week, I've got 2 guests. One of them I'm going to confirm, and so once I have a little bit more of that information, I'm definitely going to let the cat out of the bag on that one. Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This has been the Filthy Truth.
It is not Brad Pitt. Get that out of your heads right now. It is not Brad Pitt.
I wouldn't want Brad Pitt. I think he's pretty hung up in that child trafficking.
Damn, you know what? Brad Pitt from freaking Fight Club. That's a damn handsome guy.
Listen, this is again barking up the wrong tree. Brad Pitt's a very handsome guy, but all right, guys. Love you all very much. Have a wonderful time. Happy New Year's. Tune into the Prairie Truth. I will be hopping on there. So will Mr. Shadow Davis and a whole bunch of us freedom fighters. And then, of course, on Friday with the strongandfreecanada.org. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Mr. Alex, some heavy metal to play us out. Bye, guys.